What happens to your food between the field and the grocery store? Today, we're touring Walla Walla River Packing with owner Harry Hamada to find out. Primarily, your focus is the Walla Walla Sweet.
Yeah, that's the bread and butter.
So you've been doing this a long time.
Yeah, I grew my first onion in 1975.
In 1975, right before I was born. They're Walla Walla Sweets, and we're here in Walla Walla. They don't have far to go from farm to packing.
Right. You know, all the fields are probably within a 15-mile radius of here. These onions just came from the field.
Right here, this is about as fresh as it gets.
You know, the dirt's a little damp. They come from the ground.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're a little damp. They got, you know, dirt on them. The tops are kind of green sometimes, so you got to dry that down. That way all the dirt, when you run them across our line, comes off. Have a nice clean onion when you're going into the box. So this is our curing room. I got some heat on here.
Oh yeah, so, you can feel that.
Yeah, yeah.
So the air is
coming up through the floor.
Coming up through the floor.
And up through the bins.
What would happen to the onions if you didn't have this process?
It just takes them longer to dry down. So they're coming through, see, they're pretty clean.
Oh yeah.
So the onions are getting singulated, going through under the camera boxes. They're getting 28 pictures of an onion at 10 onions per second. They're rotating the onion so you can see different sides. You program it to tell the computer what to keep, what not to keep, where to put it. It dimensionally sized so it knows how big the onion is. So then you tell it which lane to drop it into.
That seems like a lot of work happening very fast.
Very fast, yes. This machine can handle 10 onions per second.
My goodness, and all of those decisions are being made by the computer?
By the computer, oh yeah, I couldn't make them that quick.
So now here's where they're all getting divvied up, right?
Right, yeah, so you got the bigger ones going over here. Each onion gets weighed too, so we know how many pounds we're packing a day.
This used to all be done by hand, is that right?
The camera part, yes. We used to have 4 sorting tables with 3 or 4 ladies per sorting table, picking out the bad ones. You get into a bad lot, you'd have to slow the machine down. This machine is new, so we haven't really had a bad lot, but the theory is that we're not gonna have to slow down.
Right.
We can just keep going.
So I noticed though that the human element isn't completely gone. Once they're kicked out and divvied up, you still have a lot of people here.
Yeah, the camera's not perfect. It gets the majority of them, but they're not perfect.
Gotcha.
And you have to decide, you know, he can program it any way you want. It's not perfect.
Gotcha.
And bad onions will get through into the good ones. And we want to make sure we get a good product to the stores. You know, they're not real busy, so the computer must be doing a pretty good job.
Right, they're not going nuts. Yeah, I gotcha. What makes a Walla Walla Sweet so special?
I think there's something about the soil, and then I think the climate has a lot to do with it. When we first started, we would test all the fields, and we never had a field that didn't test sweet. You literally can eat them like an apple.
Yeah, so. I've done so. There's a lot of onions.
We're harvesting them. We're 3 or 4 days into curing. We're packing. Hopefully no more than 3 or 4 days, and they're in the consumer stores.
That's pretty fresh. I think it's time to give packing some onions a try.
Put 10 of those in a bag.
Just put 10 of these in the bag.
All right, hurry up, the table's filling up.
Be thankful the next time you eat an onion. I want to say thank you so much for doing what you do. Really appreciate it. I eat a lot of onions in my life, so I really appreciate that, and keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thanks for giving us a tour.
Yep.